Texter writes in, Leroy, and you can text the program at 67974. Those texts on the ticket are driven by Kendall Toyota and West Kendall Toyota. Guy texts in, Leroy. I don't know if you heard this. He says, your boy Tyler Herro is a clown, Tobin. He doesn't compare to Ja, Trae, or Luka. He can't even relegate Duncan Robinson to the bench. Get the F out of here, you clown. Did you hear this? These comments from our boy wonder Tyler Herro? Did you hear what he had to say?
No, I did not.
All right. Well, he was on the Miami Mic'd Up podcast, really good podcast by Jeremy Taché, who did a bunch of good Heat interviews and had Boy Wonder on. Now, this is what is making the rounds, Leroy. Tyler Herro was asked where he would group himself in. Well, you just hear the show clip. This was on Miami Mic'd Up.
We've seen all sorts of different projections, right? Like some people are like, oh, this dude's a role player. Other people, this is a Hall of Famer. Where do you see yourself? Where do you fit into the mix on that? I know you take it one day at a time, but as you see yourself, what are the types of goals you have long term?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I'm in the, same conversation as those guys, the young guys coming up in the league who can be, all-stars, superstars one day. Luka, Trae, Ja, those guys like that. I feel like my name should be in that category too. I put the work in, and I'm just continuing to get better every single day. So, I got a lot of goals in mind to be an all-star one day and continue to chase my dreams. So I'm really excited to see where I can go.
Man, I gotta tell you, man, Goosies. I love it.
I will say this.
I love it. I love the fact that he's doing that.
And this is. If you don't believe that you can get there, then you won't.
Right. 100%.
And so I have no problem with, I used to say a thing in the beginning of the year. I'm the best running back in the league.
Ooh,
None of us got any yards rushing.
You
Why
said that?
not?
You said that?
All the time. Every year.
You did? Wow.
Every year. But look, it's not a matter of whether you are or not, but you have to approach it like you are, so that, I would say, when I would watch film, I would look at it in a way like, okay, could anybody make that run? Could anybody do that? Then I'm no different than just average Joe running back.
Right.
Okay. Oh, could anybody break that tackle? No. Can anybody do this? No. Okay, that separates me. And that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a guy who played, who did my profession, where when you watched it, you say, okay, that right there, that player, those plays, or that effort, or that ability is what separates him from just another running back. And so if you don't believe that you can be that, then that means you're just going to settle for what you are.
Like here's the thing with Tyler is that, first of all, I love having him back to that. I love having him back to the confidence that he had. That's what he had his rookie year. He was oozing the confidence. You saw, remember how much bleep Tyler Herro was talking in his first preseason game? I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking about his first one ever. He was getting into a beef. I believe it was with Michael Carter-Williams. I think it was against the Magic, and he got into a huge smack talk with all that stuff. He's a guy who loves to trash talk others, loves to trash their game. I think that's part of your element. If that's what gets you going, if that is part of what fuels you, then great. I mean, like, remember when we, and a lot of guys, like you said, a lot of guys have this. I don't want to call it delusion, but have this perception of themselves. Remember when Dion Waiters? When we talked to Philly Cheese, and it was the summer after he signed his extension, and how like he thought it was crazy that the Heat were going after Gordon Hayward instead of him. It was ridiculous. Gordon Hayward? I'm better than Gordon Hayward. I would say too, like the other thing that Tyler Herro has that those guys don't or didn't to start their career is those guys all have their own teams. Like those are their guys' teams. Tyler Herro came into a situation where he was on Jimmy Butler's team. He already had an all-star, an all-NBA guy on his team. Mm-hmm. And he was tremendous as a rookie. Yeah, there were some major struggles last year, for sure. But if you actually do look at the statistics, his numbers did go up last year. Not much, but they went up with all of the struggles that he had last year and didn't have the offseason that, these guys were able to fuel on from year 1 to year 2. Now, they're all taking tremendous leaps. So if you're going to put that bullseye on your mark, I don't know if it happens to happen this year, but by year 3, okay, those are the types of leaps you're talking about with Luka, who was gangbusters out of the league, Trae Young, who was going for Rookie of the Year. Now he looks like an absolute perennial, star in this league. John Morant doing just tremendous things. I don't think it's bat bleep crazy to say those types of things, but I know that he's going to get dumped on because I would say Tyler Herro is probably the guy that is one of the easiest targets in the league. Like, people love to go after Tyler Herro. Love it. They love
it. But I would say, his comments aren't about the guys that he talked about. His comments are about what he believes he is.
Yes.
And as long as he believes that, then that's fine. Just go out and do it. I don't see it to be, like some people say, how could you include yourself? Well, you have to if you want to get there. Right? What are you going to compare yourself to? Like, if you don't have the goals of being one of those elite guys, then who the hell are you going to compare yourself to?
I think they want Tyler Herro.
You would be more upset if he said, you know what? I think if I have a long career like one of the Plumlees, I'll be fine.
Yeah, listen, if I could be the next Lemon Pepper Lou, I would be happy. All right. I mean, that's cool. No disrespect to Lemon Pepper. I love Lou Williams. Great career he's carved out for himself, but you're not the guy who says best trip here. You're not Boy Wonder if you say my goal in life is to be Lou Williams. It's not. And by the way, he's still 21 years old. He's still got a lot of growing to do in his game, in all of his development. And man, dude has himself a scoring bag. He does, man.
Yeah, I would just say, you have to, as a player, right? As a competitor, you have to think you're the best. Like it may not be true,
mm-hmm.
but you can never even get close to that if you don't actually believe it yourself. How can you expect other people to treat you a certain way and treat you like an elite player if you don't believe you're an elite player yourself? So it's a self-confident thing that he's always been this confident. So why would I expect him to be any different now? Why would I expect him to all of a sudden be humble and say, oh, well, someday I hope to be on their level? No.
He's not Duncan Robinson. I don't know what to tell you.
Right, exactly.
If you're Duncan, imagine if I brought Duncan Robinson, hey, Duncan, I think you could be next to Luka Dončić. He'd blush. He'd be like, no, don't say that. Don't say that.
Right.
But they're not the same. They're not the same. They're not the same guy. I'm glad that Tyler Herro doesn't go out there and say, I want to be the next Joe Ingles. I'm glad.
Right.
And Joe Ingles is a great player. I like Joe Ingles. But I would like, at 21 years old, with the kind of start that he had to his career, 37 points in the Eastern Conference Finals, snarling in the NBA Finals. I want that guy for him to shoot for the moon. I know, and you know what? He knows at this point that he's gonna get heat for it. He's got to be able to put that stuff aside. I think probably some of that stuff maybe got to him last year. I think he's acknowledged that. He's got to have I don't care about that stuff anymore. I just got to be me. Because if you start caring about what people think, you're gonna get eaten up alive. So I like it. I love it. And let me tell you something. If he does take, I'm not even talking about a jump to those guys, but if he does anything close, like if he has any kind of seismic leap this year, it's a game changer for this team. It is. Him and Bam. Like, it really is. It's a lot in their hands. They're young guys, and I think we know what the vets on this team are going to do. I think Kyle Lowry's going to do a lot of good things for Bam. I think he'd do a lot of good things for Tyler, too. And you know what?
Yeah.
In a weird way, Leroy, I can't believe I'm saying this, but because I make fun of Boston for this, but in a lot of ways, too, you know what's important to this team? Intangibles. Now, I don't just mean Duncan Robinson and Tyler Herro. I mean that the kind of chemistry that this team had in the finals year. And they've talked a lot about not the same thing last year. You're in different locker rooms. You're not together. And I think what we saw with Jimmy last year, where there was a lot of exhaustion, I think even he bought into some stuff last year. Remember when he was saying going in, just get me to the playoffs and I'll take it from there. I think there was a little bit of Jimmy buying into playoff Jimmy too. I think having a guy like Kyle there kind of resets it and be like, hey, friend, you don't just get to turn into a superhero. I think that's going to help. I really do. I think it's going to set things in the right direction.
Right. It's crazy because we have two guys who are intangibles that aren't white.
Huh.
When you think of PJ Tucker and Markieff Morris.
I'm not going to tell them they're not. I'm not going to say they're intangibles. Punch me in the face.
They're intangibles. They do a lot of the grit work, the grunt work on the basketball court.
I do think
the
that
defending, the hustle.
I do think that PJ
in
Tucker,
your face, the pest.
I do think that PJ Tucker should just have GW in his box score for grunt work.
Or corner three.
Oh, he loves that corner three. Loves that corner three.